I was reading through this book this evening, and I just wanted to motivate you and remind you of some things that I need to be reminded of myself. So as I'm reading this book, and our sister Esmeralda Simmons, she's an attorney, and she's talking about to be an African professional. So I took some pieces about this out because these are things that I must keep in mind. I must keep in mind even myself. But she says, how are we who are trained professionals to be African? There's certain parts of this that I think is very important for us to look at. And she says, choosing ourselves, developing our personal talents. It is frequently said that every person has a particular special talent. In Western societies, this idea is given lip service, but is not actually encouraged. Much more attention is paid to measure IQs, so-called intelligence levels, and the results of standardized tests than is paid to talent. This makes sense in societies where little creativity is needed to sustain the system and large numbers of people are needed to simply follow directions. Talent is not that important in those societies. Those young people who score highly on tests are tracked into the professions that require the greatest amount of study and preparation. These are the people who have great earning potential. This tracking frequently occurs whether or not that person has shown any interest in that particular vocation or profession. Unfortunately, this is how success is measured. If each person of African ancestry located and developed their natural talents and worked on developing our community, we could only win because of the width and breadth of specialties represented. The community will also be happier because in this case, everyone would love their work and excellence would be a result. That means if you did what you love and you were really gifted at, it would be so amazing, right? It would just be so amazing. The result, right? When our training and skills are developed to simply meet the standards of the market, we are complying with the economic forces that are oppressing Africans. We should be and do who and what we are, not what is marketable. Isn't that something? We need to just be ourselves. Just be. Imagine if you could just do what you really love and really just focus on that instead of just doing what pays the bills or gets you the highest income to get you the biggest house and the most fanciest car. So this is another section that our sister talks about. She writes, don't place us back on the auction block. Wow, this one is, whew. African self-determination will result from our collectively developing our personal talents and choosing to do things at which we excel. This will also prevent Africans in Western society from assuming vocations or professions that are foreign to their nature. We must avoid the practicing of gearing our lives to fit into the economic schemes of other people. This is an essential redefinition of professionalism. Africans should be true to themselves and not contort their vocations and professions simply to be marketable. It is upsetting to watch young professionals of African origin study the latest list of the highest paid professionals. We should not voluntarily place ourselves back on the auction block. Wasn't 400 years on the auction block of enslavement long enough? It is one thing to support yourself with a job while actively practicing your true profession or training to do so. It is quite another thing to have your contribution to your people defined by others outside your community based on their society's demand at that time. African people probably need fewer lawyers and MBAs than they need talented teachers and dedicated physicians. Working for African liberation and self-determination is more than giving back. Many millions of talented African professionals who have our people's interests as their primary commitment are needed to reclaim our societies. Giving back to the community implies that one has advanced beyond his or her roots, has left the community behind, and is no longer working primarily for the good of our people. The question, back from where, is raised with this statement, giving back. Are professionals of African ancestry truly separated from and ahead of the masses of their people? Western class status standards are based on hierarchy. Even if racism did not exist in Western societies, imbalance of wealth and status could remove that which binds us together, our shared culture. Some professionals of African ancestry do choose to separate themselves and trade in cultural values for the privileges of class and status. When these people give back, the energy and resources that are given are superficial and insubstantial and take on the quality of atonement or charity. Our people do not want spare change. They want and need us to dedicate ourselves to the common good of us all. The needs of the African community should be a primary focus and not an afterthought, something to think about daily. This is really something that requires intense focus and, how they say, being intentional about it, because it's easy, if you're not careful, to get sucked in. Like our elder said, as our master teacher, Dr. John Henrik Clarke, taught us repeatedly and constantly, if it's not about African liberation, it's not about anything. So I hope you liked that section, to be an African professional. And I hope that you understand your responsibility. Because some of y'all don't think y'all have any responsibility. And that's the sad part. There was one time when we had a sense of responsibility for the community, for the larger community. We knew that we weren't out here of our own doings, and that when we got out here, it wasn't going to be all about us. But somehow, some way, we lost our way. We lost our way. We don't think about anybody else, but I do. I do. And what I'm trying to do, I'm going every which way to try to find a way to break myself free so I can devote my time fully to my people, to our cause, to be where I need to be daily. You can't wait until, because you don't know who you are helping with the little bit that you do. All of us. So we're all part of the big puzzle. We all play a part. How scant would that puzzle look if any of us decide that we don't want to play our part? The puzzle will never be complete. We need to complete this puzzle. We need to complete it. We need all of us present. All right, y'all. That's enough for now. Peace and love. To be African.